Hey everyone, welcome back to Solo Party. My name is Kane, and we are starting out day 7 here in Valenwood for session 2 of the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. We've got 2 out of the 3 total side quests we could complete to get some advantages for the final quest during session 2, and we're close enough to this last town to go ahead and get a third, and we're going to see if we can't just go ahead and get all of them. We would only need to do one before attempting to complete the end quest for session 2, but we're doing really good so far. That extra movement from the scout's enduring ability has really helped. So let's go ahead and head to South Point. An uneasy member of the Aldmeri Dominion, South Point was founded by Imperial colonists and still maintains a heavy Imperial presence. It was recently the plaything of Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness, and its residents would like to move on from that unhappy memory as quickly as possible. So, no unique town abilities here for South Point. At the town square, we do have the Remnants of Sheogorath action. We can gain 5 tenacity, then you are dealt 4 true damage. After taking this town action, you cannot take an in-town action for the remainder of this encounter. Okay, so get 5 tenacity but take a ton of damage. I don't think we would do that even if we weren't at full tenacity. So let's just go ahead and populate our shop and trainers. Now, since we are at level 2 of our town encounters, if we want to do our second town action, it is going to cost each of us 1 tenacity, which isn't too big of a problem because we all just maxed out our tenacities at 5. Even so, we are going to start by using a group action to check out the quest board. And between these two options, I think we want to go with the pesky proselytizers. There have been reports of peaceful yet disconcerting Daedric cultists proselytizing villages in the area, preaching about their dark gods. Get them to leave however you see fit. So we can travel to any peaceful landmark and select one of the following options before initiating an encounter for the day. After resolving an option, complete this quest. So we can threaten the cultist, choose an adventurer to drain 2 available warrior type skill dice, or 3 available combat skill dice. That adventurer may gain 1 bonus experience during the day's reward phase, then set this quest aside. You may now discard it while in town to give each adventurer an additional town action. Or we can trick the cultist into leaving. We get to make a social check. The value would be 4 times 3, so 12. And if successful, each adventurer may draw 1 legendary item. Then set this quest aside. You may now discard it while in town to give each adventurer an additional town action. If unsuccessful, discard this quest without completing it. Or we can decide to join the cultists. The Lords of Oblivion are the true gods. We gain the keyword Dark Blessing and discard this quest without completing it. Alright, so starting with our Nord, we will spend that 1 tenacity in order to go to the shop, and we're going to pick up the Glyph of Crushing. So we can enchant Adventure while in one-handed or two-handed form. The enchanted Adventurer may change their rolled combat skill dice to 1 before resolving them. So we're just going to go ahead and take that and equip it to us. Next, with the Khajiit, we'll also go down to 4 tenacity, and they're going to pick up the Riemann War Drum. As an action on your turn, you may roll a d6 and deal 1 true damage to different units in sight up to the total you rolled. Unless you are a bard, the first unit selected must be yourself. If you roll a 4 or higher, discard this item after use. And so our Khajiit is going to be the one to pick this up, but we are actually going to give this to the Breton in the Adventurer's Rest phase where we can trade between ourselves. And I think I want to keep our Breton at 5 tenacity, and there's not much that I really want to take with the Wood Elf. The Maiming Poison is pretty good, but we have a lot of damage mitigation, especially with our Enchanted Geralt Rescue Dog. So there will be no more town actions taken, but let's go ahead and do a couple of other things that we can do outside of battle first. Our Breton is going to go ahead and use the Glyph of Transmutation, and we're going to enchant a legendary item. And I think we're well past our point of usefulness for the Potion of Heroism. We're not too concerned about level 5 enemies anymore. So we're going to get a look at 5 cards from the top of the legendary item deck and choose one of those to replace it. And out of the 5 cards we drew, we're going to keep the Velothi Farseer's Charm. When deploying a random level 5 or level 10 enemy, you may draw 2, then choose 1 to deploy and 1 to return to the enemy bag. If you are a scout or ranger, which we are with our Khajiit, this item may be used even if it is in your pack. So this is great. We can just keep this in our pack with our Khajiit, and that frees up 1 of our ready slot spaces. Now we will go ahead and activate Province. And we've drawn the town and conflict encounters. So the town is going to go to 3 and the conflict will go to 2. We'll do our adventurer's rest now, and I'll go ahead and just take one die off of each of the tracks. But I will go ahead and show importantly that because we have the enchanted scamp head camp alarm, whenever we recover our combat skill die with the Nord, we get two. Now, we know for our current side quest that we need to go to a peaceful landmark to activate it. And we could just go up to the Red Fur trading post, but I think we're all going to take one light fatigue to get to the Spinner's cottage. And the reason for this is that we are 5 spaces away now from Woodhearth. So if we want to go back there to then go and take inactions to get our tenacity back, which we're probably going to end up using in this social check, that's going to be an easy way to get our tenacity back for the final fight. So before activating this encounter, we are going to attempt to trick the cultists into leaving, so we'll get to see our first social check. We need to get to 12. So the first thing we need to do for a social check is to roll any applicable die. And speech die can be rolled for social checks, so let's see what we can get here. Okay, a 3 and a 4, that's 7. So we get to take 7 off of the 12, and that leaves us with 5 remaining on this check. And now, in order to get that, we can now spend tenacity down to make up for the remaining total. So our Nord is going to spend 1 and go down to 3. Our Wood Elf is going to spend 2 and go down to 3. And our Khajiit is going to spend 1 and go down to 3. Then our Breton will spend 1, going down to 4, and that's the remaining 5 we need to complete the social check. Now everybody gets to draw 1 legendary item. Then we'll set this aside with our other side quests, and we can get an additional town action at the next town we go to, like when we go to Woodhearth. And we have also officially completed 1 side quest in each region, gaining all of the possible extra benefits to be used in the final battle of this session. Starting with the Nord, we get a glyph of disease resistance, so we can enchant an adventurer, and the enchanted adventurer ignores the effects of Bane, Fear, and Maim status dice in their cooldown track. Discard this enchantment if the enchanted adventurer gains a stealth status die. Okay, that's really cool. And our Nord is actually filled up already, so we're just going to use this immediately and enchant ourselves. And our Khajiit's drawn. A potion of potential. We can expend this to refresh 1 potion in any one adventurer's inventory. So right now, our Breton is the only other person with a potion right now. So maybe this is good, maybe not, but we'll go ahead and throw this in the pack. Our Breton has gained a solution of vitality. We can expend this, and for the rest of the turn, anytime you would heal a party member or cause an adventurer to gain bonus HP, double the amount healed or gained. Okay, now that could be really good on our Breton with the little bit of healing we do have. So while 6 Magicka sounds cool in theory, I don't think we're necessarily going to need that much. I think we'll be okay with 5 Magicka, so we're going to toss the Beach Lightning Staff into the pack and put the Solution of Vitality out instead. And lastly, our Wood Elf has gained the Kothringi Leviathan Bugle. When any adventurer gains a Sky Shard, you gain 1 tenacity. You may instead choose to discard this item to ignore the Sky Shard effect on a Delve card. If you are a bard, this item may be used even if it is in your pack. Okay, pretty cool. Not much use for us right now. I don't think we're going to see any Delves this session, so we'll just toss this in the pack for now. And now we can finally reveal our peaceful encounter for the day. Deslandra was right? You stumble across a small crowd of Valenwood natives debating the merits of Deslandra, a well-known wood elf who used to be part of a community aid organization called the Outer Watch. Deslandra has since denounced the Watch as corrupt and announced her intentions to do good on her own, but you're skeptical. Celebrities who flaunt their own charity are often anything but charitable. You're considering simply passing on your way, but a high elf calls out and asks you for your thoughts. Is it worth speaking your mind and sparking an argument? All right, we've got 2 options here. We can convince them of Deslandra's falsehoods. This will gain us 1 XP. If you are on an Outer Watch quest, you must select this option. Okay, so we're not even going to bother with the other one. Let's see what this is. Okay, another social check. So a social check of 16 this time. Adventurers may roll combat skill dice as if they are speech skill dice. Adventurers do not gain tenacity from tenacity results. If successful, you may reduce the influence tracks by a collective total of up to 5. If you are occupying Longhaven or Tanglehaven and are successful, also gain keyword resistance. And unfortunately, we're at the Spinner's Cottage, and this encounter is successful regardless of the outcome. So we will likely get to reduce those tracks a little bit here. Let's see what we can roll on our speech die for this social check. So for this roll, I've got all of our available dice here. We've got our 2 speech die and 5 different combat die from our different adventurers. So let's see what we can roll. And that's going to be a total of 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 from 16 means we still have a total of 7 that we need to resolve with tenacity. So we're going to spend 1 with our Breton, going down to 3, and we need 6 more. We're going to spend 2 with our Wood Elf, going down to 1 and needing 4 more. We're going to spend 2 with our Nord, going down to 1, needing 2 more. And we'll go down 2 with our Khajiit to a total of 1 and complete the social check. So we get to decrease the influence tracks by a total of 5. So we're actually going to take the town and conflict encounters down to 0 because I don't think we're actually going to be doing any more peaceful encounters. So 3 from town takes it to 0 and 2 from conflict takes it down to 0. Everyone also gained 1 experience during the reward phase. So our Nord, Wood Elf, and Breton are going to hold at 2 experience, and 1 with the Khajiit puts it at 4. So we'll finally get its cooldown stat to 4. Now we'll activate Province. And okay, finally just 1 symbol for the conflict. So our conflict will rise to 1. Thankfully, that is still no effect for us. We'll do our Adventurer's Rest step and everyone will recover 1 die, and we'll move on to day 9. So for day 9, we're going to go to Woodhearth to farm some tenacity. And none of these shops or trainers have really changed my mind about what I want to do here. So we are going to have every adventurer go take an inaction 2 times. We will all get to remove all of the fatigue in our cooldown tracks as well as recover all of our exhausted and drained die. We're already at full health, but we would also heal. And because we were doing this twice, everybody gains 4 tenacity, so everybody will be at their max of 5. And with that, we can go ahead and activate the province. And all right, we finally got no symbol. So we get to choose one of the tracks to reduce by 1. And with that, I'll go ahead and put the conflict track down to 0. And then we'll go to our adventurer's rest step. Obviously, we are at full health and have recovered all of our die. And that will be it for day 9. Now it is day 10. We could spend some more time gaining experience through some encounters, but we are at full health. We have all of our die recovered. We are at max tenacity. I think we should just go ahead and trigger the last quest for session 2. So let's just go to the nearest conflict location and ready this final quest. Okay, we're all set up, so let's talk about the layout here. With our enemy pool, we have 128 points. So after we first get out the corrupted creature, which is the quest creature that we have to add, we then put out 6 more level 20 enemies and 1 level 5 enemy. Thanks to the Khajiit's Farseer charm, we were able to look at 2 level 5 enemies and choose the one we wanted, and the other one had more range than the crocodile, and we were already dealing with a lot of range enemies on the board, so I just wanted another melee enemy on the board that seemed a little more easy to tackle for us. We also used the archer's Hunter's Discipline Interrupt. When a non-quest enemy is deployed, remove it and deploy a random enemy of the same level to the same hex, and then heal for 3 HP. We did not need to heal enemy, but we did end up drawing 2 demon type enemies to begin with. So this right here was originally a lich, but we went ahead and removed that and then got lucky and then drew another non-demon enemy. So we only have 1 up here that's gaining that extra 2 combat, which I denoted by using that die up there. On the map, these face down tiles here are impassable terrain, so we cannot move through those or draw range or distance through them. Due to our side quest that we completed, we're going to choose our Nord and our Breton to be able to use items in their pack for this clash. We applied a fear die to this Wood Elf Stalker, mostly because I wanted to be able to ignore the dodge and the native, meaning we'll be able to take it out a lot easier in case we do end up rolling misses. And then lastly, we ended up upgrading our Archer and our Scout to the Master sides. Now let's go over all enemy skills before we get started. Obviously, we have feared the Wood Elf Stalker, so we get to ignore those abilities. The corrupted creature has cornered and native, so cornered means that it's going to get +2 HP for each adventurer, and so for adventurers means it gets +8 on top of the 5, so we've got 13 there. We're starting to utilize some of these white health chips, which we're using as 5 counters. Native is of course Iron Bark, so it's going to get +1 defense when being attacked non-adjacent. We've got the Breton Archmage we're familiar with Arcane Siphon and Necromancy. The Crocodile has Vine Snare. Now, this Frost Atronach has Chillblain and Native. So we know Native, but Chillblain, that means after this unit is engaged by an adventurer who is not using a weapon, that adventurer gains light fatigue equal to party size. So whenever we engage it, we want to make sure we are using a weapon. We then have the Wood Elf Deadeye. This one has Detection and Vine Snare. Detection means that it can see through stealth. So we want to make sure to take that out if we plan on using any stealth die. We have the Hajmoda again with Bane and Shatter, and then in the back we have an Argonian Warlord with Colossal, Elusive, and Rally. So that's why it's got the extra health pool of chips there with a total of, it looks like, 12. Rally means after this unit is defeated, if it is not the last enemy in play, deploy an enemy of the next lowest level to the hex where this unit was defeated, then return this unit to the enemy bag. Originally, the Argonian Warlord was up where the Frost Atronach is, but we used our Scout's ability to swap them. That way, we have a melee unit in the back, so we don't have to worry about it dealing damage for a while, and because it has Rally, that means it's more likely to die towards the end anyways, so maybe it can be the last enemy and we don't have to rally a level 10 unit. And with that, I think we're ready to go, and we're going to start with the Khajiit. I think the game plan for now, we want to try to take out at least 2 or 3 of these enemies up front. Definitely Necromancy, that's always going to go first if we can help it. So we're going to go for this Breton Archmage. I do also want to take out this Wood Elf Deadeye. Being able to see through stealth is going to hurt, especially because I think I want to try to use that this turn to get these ranged units to attack the enemies I want, or to attack the adventurers I want them to attack. We're going to start by engaging the Breton Archmage, and we're going to roll 3 Shield Discipline, our Shield Charge, and then we get 2 enemy combat die from our Calcinium Mace. So when we resolve this engage, we have 1, 2 damage here. Then we'll go 3, 4 damage, and both of these will go into our active slots. But then we will go ahead and use our shield charge to recover both of these from our active slot to deal an additional +1 damage. So that's going to be 6 total. The Breton Archmage has 2 defense, so that's going to be 4 total damage, taking it down to 2 HP. We are full on tenacity, so we're just going to have to put that one into the cooldown track without gaining anything. We are then going to use 1 Tenacity and our Ornate Scabbard in order to make another engage without gaining light fatigue. We're at 4 Tenacity, so we still get the 2 enemy combat die. We're going to roll our normal combat skill die and then the 2 shield disciplines that we regained. And another 6 damage will be enough to defeat the Archmage. We'll go ahead and resolve this first to get our Tenacity and go back up to 5. We'll get 1 shield discipline into our active slot, and then our other combat die will go into cooldown. But we've taken out the Breton Archmage. And now for our Breton's turn, we're going to start with our Riemann War Drum. So we're going to use an action to roll a d6 and deal 1 true damage to different units in sight up to the total we rolled. And now, so in sight is going to be pretty much anyone, because remember, sight is just as long as you are in the same tile or adjacent tile. And all right, just like that, we ended up rolling a 6. So we will get to do 1 true damage to 6 units in play, and then we do have to discard the War Drum. Since we are not a bard, we had to take the first damage, then the Wood Elf Stalker, Corrupted Creature, Wood Elf Deadeye, Frost Atronach, and the Hajmoda also took 1 damage. Now, I was really hoping that we'd be able to take out the Archmage in one shot with the Khajiit, so we could then move it out of the way and summon someone right where the Khajiit is with the Breton, but that didn't happen. We took 2 engages, so our Khajiit couldn't move out of the way. So I think before I take an engage, I'm going to move 1 space down. And then because of the Glyph of Magicka, our Magicka stat is actually 5. So I'm going to make an engage action against the Crocodile, and I'm going to be rolling these 5 die, all of our Daedric Summoning, as well as our Force Shock. All right, so that wasn't too bad of a roll for us. We will start by using this to summon our Clan Fear. So this is going to be our first time seeing this unit, but it has a health of 3, a range of 3, it rolls 2 combat die, has 1 defense, and it is aggressive. So any misses it rolls on its first attack, we get to reroll those once. Then that gets drained. We'll put our Bound Armaments into our active slot. We'll go ahead and use our Power Stone to flip our summon into the 3 side and put that into our active slot. And then our Force Shock will deal 2 damage to the Crocodile. It has no defense, so it goes down 2 HP to 4. Now with our Breton, we're going to use our Warden ability Advanced Species. So we'll go down to 2 Tenacity. And now a companion may immediately move up to 2 hexes and engage. Obviously, we cannot move anywhere. We're kind of trapped where we're at. But if it were also a beast type, we would get to add 2 to our move and 2 to our combat. But that is not true of our clan fear. It is a demon type enemy, so it's not going to get those bonuses. But we do still get to make that engage. And it has a range of 3, so we're actually going to send that over to the Wood Elf Stalker. Because we also have our advanced summons in our active slot, so it's still getting +3 from that. So rolling 5 combat die against the Wood Elf Stalker, and because it's aggressive, we get to reroll any misses once. That gives us a good chance of putting the Wood Elf Stalker out of business. All right, we get 1 reroll. Okay, that was pretty close. 6 damage, 2 defense means it takes 4 and goes down to 1 HP. Our advanced summons die then ticks down to 2. And now we'll go on over to the Wood Elf. Our master side now lets us deal 2 damage to an enemy in sight. So in sight, again, that's just tile to tile. So we could deal 2 damage to any enemy on the board with that. But I think if we're just thinking about our immediate problems right now, we want to try to take out this crocodile because it does roll 4 combat die, even though it only is a level 5, and we've got a lot of level 20s to worry about. It also has 0 defense, so both of this damage will go through. And now for our Wood Elf, we're going to make an engage against the Wood Elf Deadeye using our Bow of the Dead Lands. So that increases our range by 4. So we have a range of 8, meaning I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so we could even hit all the way back here to the Warlord if we wanted to with our bow. But we are going to engage them. We're going to use 3 snipe die and an acid spray. So the acid spray, at least, we could maybe get a Bane on the Argonian Warlord or the Hajmoda, because that'll chip away as they're slowly moving up. And that was perfect. We hit on each of our snipes, meaning we ignored the 3 defense on the Deadeye, and that's 4 total damage, which is exactly what it had remaining after we were able to do that 1 true damage with the War Drum. So the Deadeye is defeated, and now we can choose 3 targets we want to try to roll for the acid spray. The first enemy we're going to try is the Wood Elf Stalker. It only has 1 HP remaining, so if we can get this Bane on it, we can just ignore it for this turn. Okay, that will get a Bane on the Wood Elf Stalker. Next, we're going to try the Hajmoda. It has the highest defense of 3, so getting a Bane on this will be really helpful. And we got it again. Okay, perfect. And then we can't put it on the Corrupted Creature because it's a quest unit. I think we're not worried about the Crocodile. So yeah, let's actually go ahead and try to get one on the Argonian Warlord as well. And okay, that one did miss, but we got 2 Bane statuses off on the Wood Elf Stalker and Hajmoda. Now we're going to go ahead and take a Life Fatigue to make another engage with the Wood Elf. We'll go ahead and roll our Vine Dust training in case we need it for later, as well as rolling our 2 combat die. And we're targeting the Crocodile. We're going to try to take it out here to make room for our Nord to go and potentially one-shot the Frost Atronach. And we unfortunately did not get the damage to kill the Crocodile. We do get our Vine Dust training into our active slot. We're going to gain 1 tenacity, going up to 3. And 1 damage to the Crocodile takes it to 1 HP. And now I didn't want to have to use it on this, but at the end of the Wood Elf's turn, we'll go ahead and use our Bound Armaments to get the Wood Elf to roll 3 enemy combat die against the Crocodile. And there we go. The Crocodile is taken out. Now I'd say we're doing pretty good for having not moved off of the starting tile at all. But our Nord is going to break that trend. We're going to go ahead and move 4 spaces. And we will engage the Frost Atronach. It has 6 HP remaining, and we really want to take it out in one shot, hopefully without having to use our once per battle Reveler just yet. Okay, so we'll engage the Frost Atronach. We'll use 2 of our Wrecking Blows, try to get a hit on our Executioner, and just 1 regular combat skill die. We're going to be using our Void Steel Axe to ignore 1 defense, and that way the Chillblade skill will not go off. Okay, so we're going to gain 2 Light Fatigue to add 3 damage. Another 2 Light Fatigue, take it up to 6, which means it's going to take 5 HP damage, 1 shy of taking it out in 1 shot. Then we're unfortunately at max tenacity, so we gain nothing from these 2 die. Now, because we really want to take out the Frost Atronach on this turn, we are going to gain another Light Fatigue into our cooldown to take another engage action. And we'll be using our Void Steel Axe again to ignore 1 defense, so we only need to roll 1 damage each on our combat skill die. And you know what? Just to be safe, we will go ahead and roll our Onslaught as well. Okay, so we will not resolve our Onslaught. We'll just put that into the cooldown track. But with 1 defense and 1 HP, the 2 combat skill die will take out the Frost Atronach. Then that allows us to remove 2 of our light fatigue from our cooldown track. Now that all of our adventurers are gone, our companions can go. So our clan fear will move up now, and we'll just move it right here. So now it is 3 away to be able to attack the corrupted creature. Our expert summoner is on 2, so we get to roll 4 die against it. And a pretty solid hit. With 1 defense, that means the corrupted creature will take 3 damage. Sorry, the corrupted creature actually has Iron Bark as well, so it has 2 defense when not attacking adjacent, so it will only take 2 damage, going to 10 HP. Now I'm already realizing I made a couple of mistakes here. I meant to use my Glyph of Frost with my Khajiit. I even had it in a ready slot ready to go to make sure these melee units were only going to move 1 space at a time. But I'm not going to rewind that far back to make that sort of correction. I'll punish myself just a little bit and at least say, let's go back to the end of the Nord's turn. I'm going to spend 1 tenacity to use Dragon Leap and let all of my adventurers move 1 space. So really, that just means I want to retreat 1 with my Nord. We'll move the Khajiit up just a little bit. And the Wood Elf and Breton can follow. And now we'll have our enemies activate. We always start with the quest enemies first. So the corrupted creature is going to move 2 spaces over here. And now I can activate them in any order. We'll go ahead and activate the Wood Elf Stalker here to defeat it. Now our Hajmoda will just move up 1 space. And it also, of course, loses 1 HP from Bane. And then our Argonian Warlord will file in behind. And with that, it's round 2, back to our Khajiit. Now with our Khajiit, we will move 4 spaces and get right up here next to the corrupted creature and Hajmoda. Then we're going to engage the corrupted creature, and we'll be rolling 2 of our Shield Discipline, a Heroic Slash, and Shield Charge. We're using our Calcinium Mace, so we get another 2 enemy combat die as well. So this is the symbol that gives us damage equal to our number of one-handed shield train die, and we have 5 of those. So that's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 damage right there against the corrupted creature's 1 defense. So we'll put our shield discipline into the active slot and deal 7 total damage, putting the corrupted creature at 3 HP. Now, it's a little later than I wanted to play it, but I think we can still get some benefit from our Glyph of Frost. So we're going to go ahead and use that. And now all enemies that start their turn on this big tile can only move 1 hex during their movement step. After that, we're going to use a scout ability, Savage Defense. That's going to cost us 2 tenacity, putting us at 3. We then get to deal 2 damage and apply a day's status die to each adjacent enemy. Obviously, we cannot put that on the quest unit. Then I'll also gain a day's status die and place myself in an unoccupied hex up to 2 hexes away from my current hex. And days means that you cannot move and attack on the same turn. So I'm actually just going to put myself 1 space back here onto the legendary item, and we'll go ahead and use our cut purse to get that for free. We'll look at that legendary item in just a second, but I don't want to use that extra 5 movement. I want to stay right here because I also have the day's status die, meaning if I put myself too far away from the action, I'm not going to be able to attack next turn. But if I stay right here and then the Hajmoda moves to engage me, it won't be able to attack because it is dazed, but I won't need to move, so even if I do have daze, I can still make an attack. And I drew, okay, Lothan's Burning Crutch. So this is a destruction staff. After this engage, you may take 1 true damage to move your target up to 2 hexes. You can overtax this to roll 2 status die with this engage and apply 1 to your target and gain the other. Okay, pretty interesting. Obviously, not something we're going to be using with the Khajiit, but we'll go ahead and put that into our ready slot since we have a newly free space. And that will be it with the Khajiit, so we will go to our Breton. Now, I keep doing this throughout the campaign, but I feel like we're really not managing our Breton correctly. I keep getting him trapped, when I could probably do a couple different things to get him into a better spot. So I'm honestly not even doing anything with our Breton. We're just going to end the turn, and we'll go to the Wood Elf. Now, our Wood Elf gets to do 2 damage anywhere in sight, so we will actually ping the Argonian Warlord, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to take out the corrupted creature with a regular engage. Also, at the start of our turn, we'll go ahead and exhaust our Vine Dust training. So before we take our recovery step, we can go ahead and recover 3 of our Snipe die, which will then allow us to recover everything else in our cooldown track except for that Vine Dust training. So we get rid of our Light Fatigue, and we also get our 2 combat skill die and Acid Spray back. And now we're going to take an engage against the corrupted creature. We will use our Bow of the Deadlands since this is our first engage. Our range will increase by 4, and that once again is just so we can try to get Acid Spray off once again onto the Argonian Warlord. And there you go. We hit on the Snipe die, which will ignore its defense. It does have that second defense from native, but we got 4 total damage against 1 defense. It has 3 HP remaining. That means we took out the corrupted creature. The Hajmoda already has Acid Spray, but we'll go ahead and try to roll that for the Argonian Warlord now. Okay, and we missed on the Argonian Warlord once again. And then to make some room for our Breton, we'll go ahead and move our Wood Elf up 1. Now finally, our Nord can take a turn. And now for our Nord's turn, we actually might try to take out the Hajmoda. I think we can do quite a bit of damage. Let's see if we can actually take it out though. So we will move adjacent to it. Kind of gets rid of the point of using the Dazed, but I think we'll be able to take it out. We're then going to discard our Enchanted Scamphead Camp Alarm, which is going to let us recover all of our combat skill die during battle. We're then going to perform an engage and use all of our combat skill die that we just got back, as well as one of our Wrecking Blows. And now, if you'll remember, we said our Nord was one of our characters that can use items in its backpack for this clash. So we're going to go ahead and use our Dwarven Battle Axe. So our combat skill die that roll 2 results deal +1 damage, and we're also going to go ahead and overtax it. So we just get to set all combat skill dice rolled this engage to the side of our choice. So we'll go ahead and roll them all. And all right, we did manage to get 1-2 on our own, but we are going to move all of these onto their 2 side. And then we also got this result. But let's see. The Hajmoda has 3 defense, and each of these deal 3. So that's 9 total damage right there. We don't even need to resolve this. We will just put that into our cooldown. The Hajmoda has 3 defense and 6 HP, so that 9 damage will defeat it. We've still got 1 light fatigue, so we get to remove that. And now I'll once again go ahead and use 1 tenacity with the Nord to do a dragon leap and get everyone to move 1 space. We'll have the Breton and the Wood Elf move up. And the Nord is just going to move back 1, and the Khajiit is fine where it's at. After our adventurers, our companions will go, so the Clan Fear is going to move up 2 spaces and not be in range to hit the Argonian Warlord. So now it goes to the enemy's turn. And because of our Glyph of Frost, it can only move 1 space. So it's just going to move up here into the choke point. And now we're going to go to round 3 and get a turn to really wail on it. And I think we'll be able to take it out. Our Khajiit cannot actually do anything this turn because it is dazed. So we could move, but we wouldn't be able to perform an engage with it. So we are just going to move on to the Breton. We do have Magicka 5, so we can engage the Argonian Warlord from here. So we'll go ahead and roll our Power Stone, Bound Armaments, and Force Shock. All right, we'll take our 2 damage with the Force Shock, which will deal 1 to the Argonian Warlord, putting it down to 10 HP. Then we'll use our Power Stone in order to make this, and we'll do it this side that lets us roll our skills and recover them. We will then immediately exhaust that Bound Armaments at the end of the Breton's turn in order to let the Wood Elf roll 2 of its Snipe die. And all right, let me back up here a second. I've been getting things a little confused. I was getting elusive and divert confused. Elusive means that I cannot deal damage to it if I was not adjacent to it at the start of my turn. So I'm not sure how badly that affects everything else before, but starting now, we're going to remember that. So I'm actually not going to use the Bound Armaments, and instead, we're just going to go to the Wood Elf. Now again, my Archer now will not deal any damage to it because I am not adjacent to it at the start of my turn. So I kind of put myself where I can't really do anything about that with the Wood Elf this turn. So we're just going to leave this up to the Nord. And, let's see if I can actually one-shot it with the Nord. But that's right. I wasn't adjacent to it at the start of this turn either. Okay, so we are going to have to start adjacent and just end up taking an attack. So I will go ahead and just move adjacent with the Nord and prepare to take some damage. I'm then going to move the Clan Fear adjacent as well, so I can at least attack it in case the Nord doesn't finish it off. And now the Argonian Warlord will activate. It wants to go for the strongest, which out of the 2 adjacent is going to be the Nord, so it's going to attack me with 4 combat die. All right, that's a total of 4 damage. I'm going to go ahead and use my Dark Seducer Curious to drain 1 combat skill die to prevent 2 damage. So we are really going to end up taking 2 damage from that. And now, right now, our Khajiit, Breton, and Wood Elf are all kind of useless. So we're just going to recover and go to the Nord. And now for our Nord, we're going to recover all of our die, and we are going to engage the Argonian Warlord. We'll use our Reveler ability to add 6 enemy combat die to this attack. We are going to use our Void Steel Axe to ignore the 1 defense. And then we'll also roll all 4 of our 2-handed die. And all right, even with that cock die in the back, I think we have this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 damage. Yeah, that one-shots it. We even got Execution, which we could use, but that is a one-shot on the Argonian Warlord right there. And with that, we have completed the Session 2 endgame clash. We're going to get 2 experience points for each of our adventurers, and we're going to go to entry E26. Bodine clanks his mug against yours as he celebrates a successful mission. It feels good to do good again, he says. I think your work has gone a long way towards helping the Outer Watch re-establish our credibility here, and just as importantly, your new contacts were able to point you in the direction of one of Deslandra's bases in Valenwood. You always end up going above and beyond the call of duty. He drinks deep and wipes his mouth. Speaking of which, I've got another job for you if you're up to it, he continues. This time, no Daedra companion, I promise. Although she's not so bad, is she? So we'll read the Session 2 outcome. You decide that the changing perception of the Outer Watch in Valenwood is also the perfect opportunity to take down Deslandra on her home turf. For too long, she has been cashing in her goodwill for her own schemes. By infiltrating Cursebreaker's copse and turning Valenwood against her, you can end Deslandra's ambitions and the shadow she casts over the Outer Watch once and for all. Proceed to the Valenwood endgame quest for Session 3, and we gain the keyword Notoriety. And so that is everything for Session 2 in Valenwood. I'll see you all next time for our endgame in Valenwood, trying to take down Deslandra once and for all. This has been Solo Party. My name is Kane. Thanks for watching.